What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching. And before we get started here, I had to pull a basic white girl. I got some Starbucks. It is a medicine ball tea. It is like lemonade, peach. It is so good. I'm going to get two hands on the cup here.
Trying to get into more ASMR. Lorna Shore. Pain Remains.
I'm so sorry. Okay, Lorna Shore, Pain Remains album is over an hour long. So let's jump it off here in 3, 2, and 1.
A few moments later.
All right, well, we just got done jamming Lorna Shore, Pain Remains. I have a ton to say, and some people may agree with my thoughts, some people may disagree with my thoughts, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with agreeing to a disagree. That's totally fine. So again, my first listen review is coming up next. It's probably going to be a long one, but again, if you don't mind sticking around for that, that would be great. Let's jump right into Lorna Shore, Pain Remains, first listen review. All right, my friends, so again, the most hotly anticipated deathcore album of the year, Lorna Shore, Pain Remains. We just got done jamming the entire thing here. What did I think of the album? Well, let's talk about the pros first. So let's jump right into those here. So pro number one, of course, always going to be a pro, is Will's Swiss Army knife vocals, man. Not only can he like he really proves on this album that he is the best in the game. But the thing is, though, Will seems like he's such a cool dude. Like, he doesn't ever seem like, you know, like, I am the best. Like, he's just a really chill, humble human being, and he's just grateful for the opportunity to be in a band like this here, but which I really like. I really love how it doesn't really get to his head, because we all know he's really good, and he probably knows that he's good as well, but he never like comes out and says like, yeah, I am the best in the game. But he's very humble, and he seems like a really cool dude. But his vocals were literally insane. Like, he could change from high to low to mid, like, seamlessly. Like, it did not feel like he had to stop to take a breath. He is the best in the game, and he and metalcore, deathcore, whatever you want to call it, I think he is truly the best. He is really, really, really good. His vocals are fantastic here. I also really love the drums on this album. Austin, I believe is his name. He deserves a round of applause, because I believe I was reading correctly here, Homeboy had a back injury a while ago or recently, I'm not entirely sure, but the drums on this album, I would say Will's voice and the drums were like the only two things in the album that really kind of mix things up from time to time, and so I gotta give props to the drummer on this. The drums were beefy, they hit, they were exciting, like every time it goes like right before a breakdown, so sick. So yeah, big shout out to the drummer, man. It's super cool, especially if you have the back injury. I know what that feels like. I have an L5 herniated disc, and so I know what it's like to like try to power through back pain, so props to you, brother. I would also say the orchestral parts are really, really cool, and I love that it's not overused. I thought for sure we're going to get something on every single song, but there's a few songs on here where I was like, you know what? Like, they don't really use it at all, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. But at, like, the beginning song, the Welcome Back Sleeping Dreamer, opened up really cool. The Pain Remains songs have those cool orchestral parts here, so it wasn't overused, and they did a really good job with it here. A lot of bands try to incorporate that orchestral sound. It just doesn't sound as good as Lorna Shore. They just do a good job of spacing it out, so I thought that was really cool as well. And I gotta say, man, the last big pro that I would give this album is the Pain Remain trilogy. All three of those songs are terrific. Like, the message in that song, all the songs are absolutely incredible. It felt like I was watching a movie, and a movie that I was invested in, and I thought that was really cool. That I don't know if they had the mindset going in, like, let's make this like a movie, but those three songs, the Pain Remain trilogy, are incredible. Absolutely incredible. So as you can tell on the screen, there's going to be a lot of cons that I have with this album here as well. I like the album, okay? I'm not going to say I love it because I don't. I do not love this album. I do think it is extremely overhyped. I think the songs are really cool, but to kick things off here, every song sounds the same. Like, even the Pain Remains trilogy, which I really do enjoy, I love the message in that song. Every song is the same structure, and you can't deny that. Like, even if you love this band, you have to admit, like, okay, every song sounds the same. The guitar riffs sound the same. The breakdowns, all of them are extremely similar. Like, any of these songs could have been a single, and it's really hard to tell which song was which sometimes. You know, sometimes there's a few songs that stick out, like for me, like Soulless Existence, that was really, really cool, but all these songs sound the same. Like, I understand what they were trying to do, like, obviously with their success with their EP, they just want to capitalize on that, but every song is extremely similar here, which kind of goes into my next thing, is that some of these songs are just way too long. Like, I feel like the first song, the Dreaming song, is 7.5 minutes. Had so many cool moments in it, but I just feel like if they could have shaved a couple of minutes off it, it would have made a more tighter, consistent song. I just don't know why bands feel like they need to like do these things where like we need to make the song longer. I'm not a fan of long songs. Some people are. There's a few songs out there, like Machine Head's new album. I thought they had some great songs on there. One of my favorite songs is one of the longest songs on the album. And so for me, but it's just some of the songs were overly long, and I was just bored. And that was another thing, is that I just found myself bored. As you probably saw sometimes, I was looking off to the side, like reading other reviews for Lorna Shore, and I wasn't really saying much because I just was not invested in a lot of the songs. Like after listening to the singles again, in a while, it's just everything just felt the same, and I'm just feeling kind of bored with a lot of these songs. And I get the last thing I would say is that this album is extremely predictable, and I feel like, you know, kind of like, you know, And A Return to Nothingness, like when you had your moment with, you know, To the Hellfire, like it's hard to capture that moment again, that lightning in a bottle moment where you're like, wow, that was so cool, and they want to try to capture on that again. But for me, it just didn't have that lightning in a bottle feeling that their EP had, you know. And I enjoyed the album, and I liked it, and I think it's good. It's just, I believe it's extremely overhyped. I mean, people have been giving this album 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5. I'm not giving it that score, just to let y'all know. It was good, but I'm not giving it that high of a score. My top 3 favorite songs from this album here, I would say number 1, Soulless Existence, is without question my favorite song on the album. I really do think that it did a really good job of sounding different. That one sounded more metalcore-y to me, which I don't know if that's the vibe they were trying to go for, but I really like that one. That one really stuck out to me a lot. I really like Wrath as well. Like, for some reason, that one, again, very similar to the other songs on the album, but I really liked that one. I thought that one was really, really cool. And then honestly, I think Pain Remains 2 is my favorite song, like, just of the Pain Remain trilogy. I love that opening guitar riff. Like, the sound's super cool. All 3 of those songs are great, but if I were to pick one out of the 3, I'd probably say Part 2 is my favorite song of the trilogy. So those are my top 3 favorite songs from this album here. Look, man, there are so many good things about this album. I mean, honestly, this album felt like a movie. Like, part of these songs could have been on a soundtrack to, like, Lord of the Rings, or even, like, Legend of Zelda, or anything, or, like, Game of Thrones, or something like that. I thought they did a good job with, like, you know, making it feel like an event. Like, this album felt like a movie, but it felt like a movie that fell really short at parts. I kind of, again, I love movies, so comparing it to a movie, it started out really strong, but then I felt like the middle of it kind of fell flat, and then at the very end, it kind of picked up and kind of, you know, kind of got me interested again. Pain Remains is a movie on, if Pain Remains was a movie on Rotten Tomatoes, it would be a 70%. It's definitely that middle ground of, like, people are liking it, but there could be something more to it. And I am of the believer of, I still think Brand of Sacrifice is the best deathcore band out there right now. They bring so many cool elements without sounding like really forcing their music and, like, trying to change things up too much. I think Brand of Sacrifice is the best deathcore band out there. And Lorna Shore, I do like this band. I mean, again, like, I really feel like they did a good job with this album. It's not a bad album by any means, but I am of the mindset, I think it's extremely overhyped. It's good, but completely overhyped. I like this album okay. I really feel like Pain Remains, the 3 songs, would have been great as another EP. Like, I feel like, you know, obviously, you know, we had And I Return to Nothingness. I feel like Pain Remains would have been a great EP. But of course, they wanted to put out a full album with Will, and I completely understand that here. But I feel like Pain Remains would have been a better EP than a full album. Because of that, because of the talent of Will, the drums, and again, has some really cool parts into here, I am going to give this album a 7 out of 10. I do not think it's bad. I do not think it's phenomenal. It's right there in the middle for me here. This album will probably not end up in my top 10 albums of the year. I might not even give it an honorable mention. I liked it okay, and that may be a hot take, but I thought it was just fine.